So, I played a little bit of Helldivers 2 over the weekend, and I'd like to offer up my initial impressions for any of you who may be considering it. Evidently, this game's gotten quite popular. I'm seeing numbers around 4 million copies sold with 400,000 concurrent players on Steam over the past weekend. But to be honest, this game really wasn't even on my radar. I did watch a few YouTube videos about it when it first released to wrap my head around the premise and get a feel for the gameplay loop, but ultimately I decided this game's just not gonna be for me. Generally, I enjoy games that have some depth. Helldivers seemed pretty superficial. I like games where I can really get lost in a story. Helldivers didn't seem to offer much in this respect. And I like games that I can enjoy solo. Helldivers seem to mainly revolve around a group dynamic. So those were kind of the figurative 3 strikes for me. It ain't gonna work, I'm just gonna go back to grinding Warframe. But over the weekend, my old buddy Smelly Drifter reached out and said, "Hey, me and the boys are picking up Helldivers. You in?" Thinking about all the stupid things that I opened up my wallet for over the course of my life.
Bunch of hookers and cocaine.
Oh, okay, that's not good.
I said, yeah, let's do it. So between Friday and Saturday night, we played for a little over 6 hours between 2 sittings with a full 4-man squad. What are my thoughts on the game after actually picking it up and getting a feel for it? I think I was right. It's not exceptionally deep or complex, there's no grand story being told here, and it's not something that I would want to play alone. But holy shit, is Helldivers 2 a lot of fun. And when it comes to a video game, I think fun factor is kind of just that ultimate trump card. You know, just the fact that it's enjoyable to play negates most of my issues. For the general gameplay loop, after you complete your basic training, you'll arrive at your ship, select a mission, drop to the planet, complete objectives, call an extraction, collect your battle pay, and then do it all again. I mean, it's simple, it's concise, it's straightforward. What are you spending your battle pay on? Upgrades. There are 3 main currency types, and we'll get super credits out of the way first. These are earnable in-game, but also purchasable with real-world monies. You can use these to buy a periodically rotating selection of items from the Super Store. The 2 currencies that you'll be spending the bulk of your time with when getting started are going to be medals and requisition slips. Medals are going to be used to unlock various guns, grenades, armor, emotes, mainly things that will be statically equipped to your Helldiver when dropping into a mission. With requisition slips, you can unlock squad boosters or new stratagems, which are basically your battlefield deployables. Support weapons, turrets, airstrikes, things like that. And there are a good amount of options here which do provide some nice gameplay diversity. I can't say for sure at this point since I'm not all that deep into the game if some are just objectively better than others, but the options do seem to have varying degrees of situational strength. Since you can only bring 4 of these into a mission at one time, your selections will probably vary depending on the mission type, the faction you're facing, or the role that you're trying to fill. And I do really appreciate this dynamic. It makes you think a little bit when loading up for your drop. After covering Destiny 2 for so long on this channel, I kinda grew tired of the it's meta or it's garbage mindset that a lot of players seem to have fallen into. So it was refreshing seeing that Helldivers took more of a right tool for the right job approach. And that aspect becomes even more fleshed out when you're looking to complement or supplement your squad mates' kits. I really do like seeing these subtle nuances poke through. As far as the overall gameplay goes, I'm a very analytical minded person and not really all that good at describing how something feels. But I watched a video from Austin on SkillUp's channel that really hit the nail on the head. So, I quote, "It's meaty, crunchy, juicy, any word that you can use to describe the perfect bowl of nachos, that's what this game feels like to play." And I honestly don't think there's a better way to put it. He said it perfectly. This is a game that as a whole doesn't take itself too seriously, and everything just feels exaggerated, from the drop pod slamming into the ground, the explosions from airstrikes, machine gun turrets humming away, the chunky robust sound of firing your weapon. It all just provides a really intense, in-your-face, immersive sensation. And I think something that further adds to that is the fact that your character is not a super soldier by any stretch of the imagination. You're not all that speedy when moving around the play space, you can't jump, at least not without the assistance of a jetpack, you can only mantle ledges that are around chest height, and small drops can result in a faceplant. Plus, you're not exactly John Wick when it comes to wielding your weapons, you are working with limited ammo, and an early reload will see you forfeiting a portion of your magazine. All these things factor into your Helldiver feeling quite vulnerable. Everything will kill you, and it's not just the angry mobs of enemies that you have to be wary of. Fall damage, a turret taking an untimely swing in the wrong direction, an orbital strike that gets called in a bit too close, or accidentally wandering underneath a drop pod that just got called in. All these things can leave you asking for a respawn, and this holds true not only in the case of your own personal mishaps, But you're gonna pay for your teammates' miscalculations as well because friendly fire is turned on at all times. Everything's just coming together to create tense, high-octane, and often comically tragic events throughout the moment-to-moment gameplay. In other words, I think it's really fun. But for as good as I think Helldivers 2 is, and for as much as I enjoyed my brief time spent with the game so far, I don't find myself craving this game. And I think that all really comes back to the fact that I still have absolutely no desire to play this game solo. And honestly, that's fine. I'll play the game with the boys on Friday and Saturday nights and happily put it down and pick it back up the next weekend. I don't need another game competing for all of my time. I got those already. But that being said, if you are someone looking to pick up this game with the intent of playing it solo, I don't think I'd recommend it. I went back in and tried out a few missions by myself just to get the experience, and really it felt like the magic was lost. In my humble opinion, it really is that group dynamic, the people that you're playing with, the moments you can laugh about with your friends. I think that's what holds everything together. If I go in solo and a misplaced grenade accidentally lands at my feet, it's not funny, it's frustrating. If I were to drop in with a group of randoms and their negligence was to keep killing me, I'd get irritated. But when this stuff happens with a group of friends, it gets turned on its head. You know, it's just some lighthearted, goofy fun that we can all chuckle about. And at the end of the day, I really think that's the type of game that Helldivers 2 is trying to be. It's a silly but well-executed game that's built for having fun for the sake of having fun. And just one more minor issue to highlight, the game has recently launched. I think its popularity was underestimated, and the servers are taking a beating as a result. And I say minor issue because I'm sure this is something that is going to get ironed out, but currently when logging in at peak hours, you may be met with a servers at capacity message, your character may get locked up in game when interacting with certain objects, or your experience and currencies may not be tallied up correctly in real time. Just various launch bugs and issues, but I'm sure the people at Arrowhead Studios are working hard to get this fixed up. But yeah, if you were someone who was on the fence about purchasing Helldivers 2, I hope my perspective aided you in your decision-making process. And if you're someone who's already hopped in, I'd love to read about your impressions down in the comments. That's gonna do it for this video though. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll catch you on the next one.